A very warm welcome to all of you once again. As the first topic of the second unit of your environmental studies syllabus, let us today introduce you to the basic concept of ecosystem. Learning outcomes. After going through this topic, you will be able to make an idea about the basic understanding of the ecosystem concept, definition of ecosystem, types of ecosystems, and the importance of the ecosystem concept. Now, in trying to gain an understanding of the basic concept of ecosystem, we will concentrate on the higher levels of organization in the biological kingdom, which you get to understand from your metric syllabus onwards. We start with individuals. Suppose we take an insect, and this insect we know lives in a population. So population is what? When individuals of one particular species combine to occupy a particular space for a particular period of time, that is known as a population. Now in this example, suppose we also have a population of frogs, a population of snakes, and a population of trees. Now, when we talk about population, a population has certain features which it shares with the individual organisms, and then it has got certain features of its own. Say, for example, natality, how many individuals are being born in a population? Mortality, how many individuals are dying out from a population? Age distribution, what is the distribution of individuals of various ages in a population? Biotic potential, that is, what is the rate of growth of population and what is the growth form? Growth form, we know it can either be a S-shaped growth form or a J-shaped growth form. Now, populations, they combine and live together in what is known as a community. Now, within this community, the individuals, they interact with one another. Interestingly, community also has certain characteristics of its own. Say, for example, the number of species. If we take this example, hypothetical example, we have 4 species out here. The relative abundance of species. Say, insects, as we can see, are most abundant, frogs are less abundant, snakes lesser, and trees more abundant in this example. And what are the kinds of species comprising the community? So here we have 4 kinds of species: insects, frogs, snakes, and trees. Now, while these are interacting with one another, they also interact with the abiotic environment, and the interaction of the biotic community with the abiotic environment results in what is known as a ecosystem. So basically, if we dissect an ecosystem, virtually dissect an ecosystem, what we find is we find the abiotic environment and we find the biotic, that is the organisms in the community which are composed of populations of different species. Now these are the two components, that is the biotic factors and the abiotic factors, which interact with one another to form what is known as a ecosystem. The term ecosystem was first proposed by Arthur G. Tansley in the year 1935. Eco implies environment and system means a complex of coordinated units. So these are the units. The individuals of different species are the units. The abiotic environment, they form the units, and they interact with one another to form what is known as a ecosystem. Ecosystem is the unit of study of ecology, just as a cell is the unit of study of cell biology, embryo the unit of study of embryology. Similarly, ecosystem is the unit of study of ecology. Definition, we take the definition of Odom and Barrett. Any unit which includes all organisms, the biotic community in an area, interacting with the physical environment so that a flow of energy. So energy flow takes place, leading to clearly defined biotic structures. What are the biotic structures? We will have producers, consumers, and decomposers. And cycling of materials between living and non-living components. So there's a biogeochemical cycle which will be going on between the living and non-living part of the ecosystem, and this forms what is known as an ecological system or ecosystem. So basically, from the ecosystem viewpoint, there are two features which lie at the heart of ecosystem dynamics, and that is flow of energy as well as the biogeochemical cycles. Types of ecosystems: natural and artificial. Ecosystems which develop under natural conditions such as pond, lake, desert. These are natural ecosystems. Ecosystems made, controlled and modified by humans. These are artificial or domesticated ecosystems such as the aquarium, agricultural fields, gardens, etc. Temporary and permanent. Say if the total duration of existence of an ecosystem is small, say if we look out here, say the surface runoff or the rainfall will lead to the formation of a temporary water ecosystem, and after the sun comes again it will be evaporated, so that is a temporary ecosystem. On the other hand, ecosystems which retain themselves for longer period of time, these are known as what? Permanent ecosystems such as the lake, forest, etc. Now, if the ecosystem has got all the four components, abiotic component, then producers, consumers, and decomposers, it is known as a complete ecosystem, such as a forest, lake, river, etc. Whereas in a cave ecosystem, we know that because of darkness, the producers or the green plants will not be there, and the bats are there which are the consumers, and when they die the decomposers are also there, so these are known as incomplete ecosystem because of the lack of producers. Now, small to large, the largest ecosystem, the earth itself is the ecosystem encompassing everything on the planet, that is the biosphere. Below it, we have mega ecosystems such as the marine ecosystem, macro ecosystems such as the forest, micro ecosystem. Within the forest, we may have a valley ecosystem, then nano ecosystem. A log itself may be an ecosystem, and that is known as a nano ecosystem. Importance of ecosystem concept. The concept of ecosystem is important because it provides us a key insight into the functioning of nature. And what does it convey? What message does it convey? It conveys the clear-cut message that everything in nature is related to everything else. Everyday perception tells us that we live in a world comprised of distinct units: trees, rocks, animals, buildings, etc. Yet, the main issue is that all these unconnected fragments are in fact part of one system. They are interrelated, and this interrelationship is essential for life. So, no piece exists independently of another. None can be modified without affecting the others. This is the central idea behind the term ecosystem. The ecosystem concept has great value for developing sound management practices and policies, and for developing linkages among systems. Thank you so much. You may mail your feedback to raj.manideep@gmail.com.